Acting ICE Director Tom Homan.
I'm a Trump guy all the way. I listen to Asa Hutchinson. I respect the man. I respect every candidate that's running for president. Well, not Chris Christie. I don't respect him a bit. But basically, but I respect him because they're all vying to be president. But they all keep talking about what they're going to do on the border. We don't need to pretend Trump. We got a Trump. And we secured the border at the highest level we ever had. And look, everybody, I met a lot of people today said, why I see you on Fox News, you're always so emotional, and I see you screaming at Congress. Because I wake up every day pissed off. I wake up every day pissed off because we gave this administration the most secure border in my lifetime. And the data proves it. Illegal immigration was down 83 to 90%. A record. No one's ever accomplished that. Illegal immigration was down a 45-year low. Now, you heard me on video. I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I've ever worked for said they took actions to try to secure the border. Even Clinton and Obama took actions to secure the border. No one did more than President Trump. But President Biden is the first president in the history of this nation who came in office and unsecured a border. And that pisses me off. Because when you unsecure the border, people die. Now, I see the White House moron, the spokesperson, and Jen Psaki before her, they will say, the Trump administration's inhumane policies. You guys, you're inhumane, you're racist. And our policy is much more humane. That's a bunch of bullshit. Because let me tell you the truth. Under President Trump, Doctors Without Borders did a study. They said 31% of women that make that journey get sexually assaulted. Now, I've talked to girls as young as 9 years old when I was a special agent that was raped multiple times by the criminal cartels of Mexico. They're animals. And when you sit down and talk to a 9-year-old little girl and look in her eyes, and every bit of humanity has been stolen from her, everything innocent, it breaks your heart. And it pisses me off because when President Trump had illegal immigration down 83% to 90%, depending on what time frame you looked at, how many women weren't being raped? How many children weren't dying? How many pounds of fentanyl didn't make it in the country to kill Americans? How many known suspected terrorists didn't get in the country because our border was secure? President Trump's policies were not inhumane. They saved lives. President Biden wants to say the policies are more humane. Let me set the record straight. Over 1,700 migrants have died on U.S. soil since Joe Biden's been president. 1,700 migrants have died on U.S. soil, a record. Over 100,000 Americans have died from fentanyl overdoses, a record. ICE has more sex trafficking investigations of women and children this year than the last 6 years combined, a record number of women and children being sex trafficked. And the thing that bothers me the most, on top of all those terrible things, a record number of known suspected terrorists have been arrested trying to enter this country. Don't tell me his policy is humane. They're killing people at record numbers. They're killing migrants at record numbers. They're killing Americans at record numbers. Bottom line, President Trump was one badass president. Now, Asa talked about the border barriers, the things floating in the river. He was wrong. Trump administration was studying those things. We had them. We looked at them. We're doing a massive study, found out they're safe, how effective they are. Unfortunately, President Trump didn't continue to be president, and that project stopped. Governor Abbott took that project over and took it. We were already looking at that. And I hear every candidate say, oh, we're going to go down there and we're going to build the wall and we're going to hold. First of all, President Trump, he didn't ask Mexico for help. He told Mexico you're going to help. He told him, he said, you're going to put soldiers on your northern border and southern border, and you're going to participate in the Remain in Mexico program. If you don't, I'll tariff the hell out of you in the billions of dollars. And he did it. Central American countries. I went there when President Trump was in office. We went to New York City. We did a press conference because we just did an operation called Operation Matador. We arrested just shy of 500 gang members, most of them MS-13. President Trump, on the way home, we're flying Air Force One. He goes, Tom, how quick can we get these people deported? I said, well, it's difficult because El Salvador pushes back on the criminals coming back to the country. You don't understand this. We can't just deport people to their home country. We got to ask permission, and we need a travel document. And President Trump looked at me and goes, what are you talking about? I says, El Salvador is pushing back on taking these people back. They won't issue travel documents and won't give us landing rights. He looked at me and says, he goes, let me get back to you. He called the president of El Salvador and says, you will take them back. He goes, I'm going to take every dollar of international aid away from you. 2 days later, Trump calls me. I'm sitting at my desk. He calls my phone. He says, how many planes can you fill up to go to El Salvador? The next day, we filled 11 planes and sent them south. I sat in the Oval Office one time. President Trump goes, okay, Tom, people keep saying that these people come for a better life and we ought to create opportunity zones down there so they stop coming. I said, look, we tried this. I've been doing this 30 years. We keep giving them billions of dollars to create opportunities, and people don't want to. And I said, it doesn't get to where it needs to go. These governments are corrupt. I says, it never works. He goes, I agree. He goes, matter of fact, I'm not going to offer them any money. I'm going to take money away. He called the 3 presidents of Central American countries, and he told them, you enter into safe third country agreements. You're going to, so that means if someone gets out of Honduras and they're really escaping fear and persecution from their homeland, which most are not, but if they're really escaping fear and persecution from homeland, then in Mexico, have they not escaped that fear and persecution? They get asylum in Mexico. And he told Mexico and the 3 Central American countries, you're going to enter into agreement where someone gets into your country and they left their country where they claim is political, fear and political hatred toward them, you're going to take them and give them amnesty in your country. And they said, no, we're not going to do this. He goes, okay, all international aid stops. Next day, they all said, okay, Mr. President, how quick can we get this program started? And he did it because Congress wasn't doing a damn thing. They got their heads in their asses most of the time. So President Trump said, I'm not waiting for Congress. I'm going to make it happen. He built the wall. Let me make something straight. Chris Christie, he built more than 53 miles of wall. You're a liar. You don't know what the hell you're even talking about. I was there. Trump said when he came in office, I want 450 miles of wall in my first term, 4 years. We built 465. So Chris Christie, try reading a book. Or talk to an expert on the board. The difference between all these other people and President Trump talked to the experts. The border wall wasn't Trump's idea. It was the men and women of the Border Patrol. I was in the Oval Office all the time. Tom, how do we do this? How do we do this? How do we do this? He talked to people with 30-plus years experience. We told him what we needed, and he got it done. That's why illegal immigration was at a 45-year low. Then this moron comes into the office, and he unsecures the border, and let me tell you what he's done. Their first year in the Biden administration, 1.7 million illegal entrants, an historic record. This country never saw that many people before, 1.7. And you know what? He broke his own record the second year with 2.4 million. Another historic record. And the numbers aren't out yet because they haven't released September numbers yet because they're shitting their pants because they know that it's going to be a bad number. I'm telling you right now, we're looking at about 3.1. His first year historic record, 1.4. He has doubled the historic record at 3.1 million encounters. Think about that. The strongest country in the world no longer controls the southern border. I talked to chief patrol agents and say, look, it's broken arrow. These people, I can't contain what's coming across. And what's their answer? Their answer, this administration, let's send more resources to the border to process quicker and release quicker. Because if there's no overcrowding, there's no crisis. And Secretary Mayorkas, who needs to be impeached, should have been impeached 2 years ago, he keeps saying, oh, the border's secure. The border's secure. Every time his lips moves, he's lying. It's disgusting. It's borderline treasonous. And the Republicans, too, in the midterm is saying, oh, we're going to impeach the guy. Now, I'm sorry, you don't hear about it. They need to get their head out of their asses and impeach the man because of what he's done to this country. Because of what they've done to this country, we got over 100,000 dead Americans. We got a record number of non-suspected terrorists. On the southwest border alone, 267 people off the terrorist watch list. The 5 minutes don't mean nothing to me. You know, There was a congressman. The congressman used to gavel me. What's her name? J. Paul. And I reminded her she worked for me. She worked for us. The members of Congress worked for us. So if a congressman can't gavel me off the stage, you ain't getting me off the stage where I want to get off the stage. Because I'm on a run. I'm pissed off. And when I'm pissed off, I got to go. But because of his policies, we got over 100,000 dead Americans. We get a record number of children sex trafficked. They keep beating us up over what they call family separation with zero tolerance. Law enforcement use zero tolerance all the time. Why would we put zero tolerance into play? Because people were dying. Women are getting raped. So we said, let's start prosecuting them. Maybe they'll stop bringing their kids through this border so the kids aren't dying and the women aren't being raped. That was our intent. And how dare you talk about our inhumane policies when the when the Biden administration can't find 100,000 children that they released to so-called sponsors? I'm telling you, the guy that runs HHS, another genius, Becerra, he had a speech the other day and said, we're releasing children at record numbers, at fast pace. They're not in our custody more than a few days. That's nothing to be proud of because you're not vetting the sponsors, and now you can't find 100,000 children. I'm telling you, folks, I've done this for 35 years. Based on my years' experience in investigating trafficking cartels, some of these children are going to be in pornographic movies. Some of these children are living with pedophiles, and some of these children are in forced labor. ICE already done 4 different investigations. They found children as young as 9 years old cleaning up entrails at a meatpacking plant in the midnight shift, not getting paid. Why would you release 5 or 6 female children to one male sponsor? Why would you do that? So God help these children. God help these children. I love kids. And this administration, I don't want to hear another word about you being humane. You're putting children at risk. Record number of Americans are dying. Record numbers of migrants are dying. There's one guy who can fix this shit, and it's Donald Trump. How are we done with 5 minutes? You got it. She still bugged me up in the front row here. I'm gonna get off. Look, I knew President Trump was going to run before you did because I had dinner with him in Las Vegas about 6 months before he announced. And we were having dinner, and he looked at me and says, Tom, I think I'm coming back. If I come back, can I get you to come back? I says, I tell you what, sir, I'm so pissed off, I'll come back for free. And I will. President Trump proved the border be secured. President proved Congress don't get off their ass. He'll secure it through executive actions. We'll finish building the wall. Every place they built the wall, illegal immigration went down, illegal drug flow went down in that area. Where are the people coming across right now? Where's this 3.1 million coming across? Well, there's not a wall. And walls save lives. Women and children can't climb the walls. That funnels them to a place there's not a wall where Border Patrol's there waiting on them and can help them and save some lives. Walls are meant to slow people down. If you touch that wall, we know. If you climb under that, you dig under that wall, we know. If you climb that wall, we know. It's a smart wall. Walls work. President Trump had the best policies I ever seen in my 35 years. What he did was unprecedented. And every other candidate can talk about how they're going to secure the border and how they're going to do this. And Governor DeSantis makes a comment, Trump didn't do enough. How dare you? What he did was unprecedented. You know how many lives this man saved? We had the most secure border of my lifetime. And we're going to finish the job. Because in January 2025, when President Trump walks in the office, I'm going to be on his heels. I want to end with this. You just saw what happened in Israel. I went to Israel 6 months ago. They got like 6 different borders, right? They border 4 different countries, and they border 2 territories with Palestine, the West Bank, and Gaza. Their most sophisticated wall system, which I got to admit is some of their technology is actually better than ours. If their walls can be penetrated, if their border security can be penetrated, and they got the best intelligence apparatus in the world, next to the United States, how about us? Because right now, you need to understand that this is why every day I wake up not only pissed off but scared. Since this administration has been in power, they caused such a huge crisis. Every sector on the southwest border, between 70 and 90% of agents have been pulled off the line to process, change diapers, make baby formula, make hospital runs, take people to the airport and fly them to the destination of their choice at your dime. 79% agents are off the line. You're not going to tell me that's not vulnerable? The criminal cartels send a group of 100 or 200 family groups to a certain area, not by accident, because they know that 30 or 40% left are going to seize to that area to take care of these people, and that's when they move the fentanyl, that's when they move the known suspected terrorists, that's when they move the trafficking of women and children. They've arrested, counting the northern border and the entire border, 569 people. 569 people off the terrorist watch list in the past year. More than the 8 years combined. Last year with Trump, we caught 4. 1.7 million known gotaways. Caught on camera, video traffic, sensor traffic. This is not a guess. 1.7 million people were saw across the border, but Border Patrol couldn't respond because they're overwhelmed with this crisis. Well, Border Patrol has arrested people from 171 different countries. Many of these countries are sponsors of terror. If you don't think a single one of that 1.7 didn't cross this border to do harm to this country, then you're a moron. This scares the hell out of me. And the Secretary of Homeland Security has the same data points I have. The President, if he understands, has the same data points I have. But yet they continue to open borders. I'm telling you, something's coming. I don't know how many terrorists have crossed this border under this administration, but someday we're going to find out. It's going to be a bad day for America. So I want to end with this. Trump comes back, I come back, we will fix this shit. You got my promise.